bomber in me.
Well, in the summer of 1940, Britain stood alone and faced an enemy that vowed to land its troops on British soil before year's end.
Yeah, the burden of defense was dropped squarely on the shoulders of an outnumbered and under-equipped Royal Air Force.
For 2 years and at tremendous loss of men and equipment, the RAF held back the Luftwaffe. RCAF pilots also fought alongside the RAF in the Battle of Britain at a cost of some 10,000 men.
And then another British ally lit up the skies over Europe. This evening, ATV's Bill Jessome's Memories of War looks at one crew member's brush with death.
Germany's declaration of war against the United States brought the Yanks to Britain in 1942. One of those Americans who helped Britain win back supremacy over the Luftwaffe was Joe Mahoney. Joe and his wife, Flora Ann, are now Canadian citizens and have lived in Yarmouth for the past 20 years. They spend most of their time doing volunteer work. When Joe was just 20, he flew as a tail gunner in a B-24 bomber. On his 11th mission, a bombing raid on a ball-bearing factory in Austria, Joe's luck ran out.
This particular day, the Germans had everything I think that would fly was up there. And a Ju-88 came in at, about 10 o'clock, and he was climbing at us like that. And he fired 2 rockets, and immediately the 2 rockets took 3 engines out. We flew for about 45 minutes, and we bombed at 21,500 feet. And I have Army records to back all this up. And the last fix that I had from the pilot was we were at about 14,000 feet. And he called in and he said there was a plane ahead of us. I had no idea how many miles it would have been, but it was in eyesight. It was struggling as we were, and we were trying to catch him. We thought, well, if we have firepower 2 ships, we're better off than 1. And the pilot called and said there's about 40 or 50 German fighters around the plane ahead of us. And they were flying in a circle, giving the people time to bail out. And after they bailed out, they used the airplane for target practice. And he was witness to all this, because I was in the back and I couldn't see it. And he then said, get ready, he said, because they're headed for us.
Getting ready meant bailing out, something Joe Mahoney didn't learn during flight training school.
And I sat down, I put my feet out of the hatch, and I was afraid to go, you know. And, but you had no choice. You're going down one way or the other. We, eventually I did go. And as I went out of the plane, it was 2 days before my 21st birthday, all I could think of, all the trouble you have, I'm not going to live to see 21. You know, it's just crazy the way the mind works.
When Joe finally hit the ground in the mountains of Yugoslavia, he wasn't greeted with open arms by the locals.
There was a woman came out of the farmhouse and she had a pitchfork. And we never carried guns with us. We had guns, but they were back in Italy. And the thought was being that if we had a gun, we had 6 shots. And if we were in an area where there was 100 German troops, what's 6 shots? Are going to get you in trouble. You know, it's not going to save anything. So the pitchfork made her boss.
Under the cover of darkness, the partisans moved Joe and his buddies closer to safety. However, it wasn't without incident.
My co-pilot was killed in a severe attack that we had. My pilot was hit in the leg. His leg was taken off with gangrene. I mean, in a barn with no anesthetics, no medication, no antibiotics, nothing.
Joe finally made it back to safety, and last September, 50 years later, he returned to that village in Yugoslavia and met some of the partisans who saved his life.
I think of those people every day of my life. There is never, never, never a day since I came out of there that I don't think of those people.
For millions, the Second World War remains to this day the most significant experience of their lives. For millions more, it means the end of all memories. Many remember each year at reunions, at cenotaphs, and at gravesides. And many remember less somber incidents, moments of joy, moments of laughter and comradeship. But the important thing is to remember. I'm Bill Jessome, ATV News.